Hey friends, welcome to another episode of Synced Up Movement Basics. My name is Kyle, and today we're going to be going over 4 different common dance positions known as Coupé, Passé, Attitude, and Arabesque. So these are positions that are frequently used in the marching arts for technique, choreo, and all the above. They involve balancing on one leg and creating a specific shape with the other leg while doing so. And y'all know the drill. If you haven't yet, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel, and make sure to hit that bell icon as well so you can stay up to date with any of our future uploads. Anyways, let's go get into those 4 positions. So in today's video, we're going to be going over Coupé, Passé, Attitude, and Arabesque. For Coupé and Passé, those are 2 positions where, like I said earlier, you're balancing on one leg, and that free leg is in some way connected to that standing leg. But for Attitude and Arabesque, it's a little bit different because that free leg is not connected to the standing leg while you're balancing on the one foot. We're going to go over how to do each of these 4 positions and then talk a little bit in detail about some of the technique behind them. So we're going to be starting with our Coupé position. I want you to choose whichever leg you want to balance on. It doesn't matter which one you choose because the technique is the same exact way on the other side. So just pick a balance leg. I'm going to choose my left leg. And you're going to take that free leg that you're not balancing on, and you're going to connect it in a pointed position to the ankle of the standing leg. Notice that when I am doing this, I am in a pointed position, so really the only thing that should be touching my ankle of my base leg is the toe of that free foot, the big toe of that free foot. I don't want to lay that foot flat onto the ankle of the other leg because then I'm not in a truly engaged pointed position with my foot, so I really want to think about only connecting the big toe to that ankle. Along with this, you want to really try and avoid creating that sickled shape foot that we're looking for. And so as you're pointing your foot and created this Coupé position, you want to push the inside of your ankle as far forward as possible when you're connecting it. So my big toe is connected to the base of my ankle on the standing leg, and my heel is pushed as far forward as possible. So when you're doing a Coupé position, you can do it to the front, side, and back of the base leg. But there's a little bit of a difference between the 3 as you go through each of them. Like I said earlier, when you're doing Coupé, you're really trying to only connect your big toe to that ankle as you go through, and you're pushing that inner heel forward to create as much of a turnout in the foot and avoid sickle as much as possible. So when I am in I'll do this as side profile for you. When I am in a front Coupé position, I am trying to disconnect my heel from the leg and only connect my toes to the front of that ankle. It's a little bit different now because it's not just the big toe that's connected, it's more so my pinky toe. But if I allowed that ankle to go inwards, you notice that I create a sickle in that foot. So avoiding the sickle and connecting it to the front, it's the pinky toe that's connected and the heel is disconnected from the front of the foot. If I go to the side of my foot, the big toe is connected to the base of the ankle, and the heel of this free leg is pushed in front of my other leg. So a quick side profile of that. It's kind of almost wrapping around the base leg. So I'm trying to, again, just really commit to that shaping of the heel pressed forward and the toes pulled back. And then this is where it becomes a little bit different in the back of the leg, because if I create that Coupé shape to the back, notice my toes are disconnected and my heel is connected. And this happens because if I switched it and connected only my toe to that back side of the foot, we see that sickled shape again, and we're trying to avoid that. So we're trying to create this sort of like a winged shape in the foot and really pushing that inner ankle forward and pulling the toes back. Now, realistically, when you're working Coupé in the marching arts, you're only gonna mostly see it to the side. So focus more so on the technique of the side Coupé, where the big toe is connected and you're pushing that heel forward. But it's also good to know that there is a front and a back along with those as well, and there's a slight difference to the approach of how you create those shapes. Moving on from the Coupé position, we're going to talk about Passé. And Passé is honestly the exact same thing as Coupé, but instead of connecting that free foot to the ankle of the base leg, you're going to connect it to the knee. So I'm going to go for my Coupé position right here, and I'm just going to lift that foot all the way up until I connect it to that knee position right there on the side. The shaping of my foot and how I connect it to my leg in terms of the front, side, and back are all the same. I'm just lifting it up from the ankle up to the knee position. Now, be careful, you don't want to only lift it up to this calf area. Some people jokingly call this a cafe. It's not a realistic position and it doesn't exist. So you want to make sure that there's a clear difference between your coupé, which is connected to your ankle, and then your passé, which is connected to your knee. Now, something to be aware of as you're working through your passé is because you're lifting that leg higher, the natural tendency is to allow your hips to tilt to create room for that leg to lift. You want to avoid that and keep your hips as square as possible while still lifting that knee up as high as possible to engage in that passé position. Another thing this affects is as you're lifting up in there, there's more weight in your knee that kind of pulls you out if you don't have your balance proper. So you want to make sure that you really engage a nice solid base leg, lifting up out of this hip and engaging your core to really press into that leg and have your balance truly be 100% on this leg. And then this free leg can work and create whatever position it needs to. So again, lifting up in that knee while keeping your hips square and maintaining proper balance. Moving on to our next position, we're going to be talking about Arabesque. And Arabesque is essentially a position where, again, you're balancing on one leg, and the free leg is going to extend into a straight leg pointed foot position behind you. So go ahead and start. I'm going to face the side so you can see this, but go ahead and start in a first position turned out, and I want you to take whichever leg you want to go into that Arabesque position, and I want you to bring it to a tendu behind you. Remember, this is crossed in the center of my body, and my leg is straight right now. From here, I'm gonna disconnect from the floor and I'm gonna lift it as high as I can while keeping my upper body as lifted as possible. You wanna be careful that as you lift that leg up, that you don't let the upper body go down in opposition. It's about lifting the leg outside of the hip socket and separate from the rest of your body. The goal would be to try and get it to about 90 degrees or so, but again, it depends on your flexibility. So just try and lift it as high as you possibly can, and as long as you have a straight leg with rotation, hips square, and it's truly behind you, you will create an arabesque shape. So again, one more time, you're facing front in your turned out position, you tendu to the back, and you lift up as high as you can, maintaining your posture, and you've created your arabesque shape. And then the last position I want to talk about is attitude. So go ahead and stand in a first position turned out and take whichever leg you want to work and tendu it out in front of you. Similar to Arabesque, we're going to lift this up into the air so it's disconnected from that base leg, but instead of creating a straight leg with that free flying leg, we're gonna give just the slightest bend in the knee. Notice I'm not overly bending that knee to where it creases super close to my body. It's just a slight bend that's still a fairly long leg, but with a little bit of a crease at the knee. That is my attitude shape here. You wanna get it as high as you possibly can while keeping your hips square and everything with your upper body still, but you're just trying to lift it to where it's still technically proper. The difference between attitude and arabesque, you could only do it to the back of you, but attitude, you do this to the front, you can do it to the side, and you can do it to the back of you as you go through that position. One thing that I want you to be aware of as you're working through a turned out attitude position is making sure that you maintain that turnout without compromising your hips. So while you do this attitude to the front, this turned out attitude to the front and to the side, it's a little bit easier to control because all you have to think about is rotating at the hip and opening that knee to the side in both positions. But when you go to the back, this is where this tendency increases just a little bit more. You want to make sure that you're maintaining that turnout position without allowing your hips to open, right? So we want to press that down. But be careful that when you're trying to counteract that you don't turn a turned out proper attitude into this, where you drop the knee down, right? So while keeping the hips still, and this is the hard part, while keeping the hips still, you have to make sure that you're rotating out of that hip socket to allow for that turned out attitude shape that you're going for. Imagine that there's a table behind you and you're just trying to rest that leg flat on top of it while still keeping your hips as square as they possibly can be. So just to give a quick review on everything we talked about, we went over Coupé, Passé, Arabesque, and attitude. Coupé being a pointed position that's connected to our ankle while balancing on one leg, Passé being one that's connected to your knee, and then we talked about Arabesque being a lifted straight leg behind you with turned out technique, and then attitude being a lifted bent leg either to the front, side, and behind you as well. We also went over different things in terms of hip orientation, lifting in our posture, and making sure that we maintain proper foot alignment as we go through each of the positions. And that was our video on those 4 standard positions. Again, you're gonna see those a lot in technique, choreography, and all other things. So it's really good to make sure that you are a little bit more familiar with them. There are so many intricacies that go into them, but this video is a good start to just get you introduced into the idea of it. So just make sure you take the time to practice it so you get more comfortable over time. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and overall are enjoying the series. If so, please make sure that you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and comment down below if you have any comments, questions, or anything that you would like to talk about. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one, and happy dancing.